Okay guys, so today's recipe I'm so excited about. It is a Portuguese recipe. We call it bifanas. I've actually really been craving this recipe, so I can't wait to show you. So bifanas is actually sometimes done with pork. Actually, most of the time it's done with pork. I like it with beef, and my grandma taught me how to cook it with beef. You can easily switch it up and use pork instead if you would rather pork. So here I have, actually this was a roast that I actually cut up myself. I used my favorite Tefal knife. I love using that for carving meat. It is easier if you buy it in the packs of sliced beef because it's already done. If you guys choose to buy them instead of the packages, instead of slicing it up yourself, it will be called fast fry beef. That's what it'll say on the label. I really wanted control over how thick the meat was. I wanted to make the meat pretty thin because this recipe generally goes inside of a bun, a Portuguese bun, or you can also serve it with rice. I'm going to be doing both today to show you guys how you can serve it up. So this is the first thing you're going to need to do. This has actually been sitting inside the fridge overnight, and then what I have done is I sprinkled it with garlic powder, a little bit of salt, and black pepper. That is all that's in here. You mix it all up, let it sit overnight. Overnight just allows it to really grasp the flavor, but if you don't have the time to do it overnight, that's fine. You can also do it on the day of. Next thing we're gonna need are banana peppers. So I have chopped these up myself already. What I have done just to tip is, I actually have a funny story behind this. I actually put on rubber gloves to cut these up because one time I didn't. And then I went to go shower after, and let's just say there were certain areas that were burning that were not supposed to be burning. And I'm not kidding you. So just keep in mind, if you want to not have like burning hands, you don't want to be touching your eyes after or anything, make sure you guys use gloves. So this is 3 hot banana peppers in here. And we're also going to be chopping up 3 large onions here. Onion is a big part of this meal as well. We're going to finally chop this up right now. So I have my onion here finely chopped. This is how I like to chop it up for this dish, nice and fine. And we're going to add it into the pot soon to kind of warm it up along with the peppers. This is the pot I'm going to be using. It is a very large pot. I like it nice and deep because there's going to be a lot of sauce with this meal, and there's lots of meat too, and you just don't want it spilling out, so make sure you guys use a very large pot. So over here we have our rice going. I'm just about to push cook. I have long grain white rice in here. I have a little bit of onion powder and some salt, and that's all that's in here. So now we're going to add in all of our onions, and they're going to make a sizzling noise. And we're going to add about a half a cup to a cup of water inside. So I'm just going to stir that up, and we're also going to add our hot banana peppers at this time as well. To be honest with you, once these peppers cook down, they're not as hot, but if you guys don't want it to be spicy at all, then I would just remove the pepper. So now we're going to put that on high so that we can get our onions nice and soft as well as the pepper. So our onions and our peppers are just getting softened up right now. They're without oregano in this dish. This dish is never going to be the same. So we're actually going to add a ton of oregano in the pot there. I would say a good quarter of a cup in there. We're also going to add 3 tablespoons of olive oil in there. The oil just helps to bind everything together. Just going to stir that up. The oregano makes it so fragrant. If I don't put oregano, this dish is just not the same. So the main body of this whole dish has a lot of tomatoes in it. So I'm just adding diced tomatoes from a can, no salt added. We're going to add 2 of those. I love the sauce from this dish, you guys. I put it all over my rice when it's done. We also want to add a can of tomato paste. This is going to help to thicken the sauce. Now I'm just going to stir all of this up all together. I'm going to be adding more water to the mix there. We're also going to add paprika. You probably need a good 3 tablespoons. Now I'm going to put it back on medium high. We're going to wait till this comes to a boil, and then we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. It's smelling good already, guys. I'm not going to be adding salt at this point because our beef is already marinated with some salt. I like to wait until all of that is added in, and I like to taste test the salt at the very end. So now what we're going to do is, this recipe actually needs beer, so I'm going to be adding in some beer. A lot of Portuguese recipes will take wine and beer. I like to avoid it when I can, of course, for the excess calories, but again, with this recipe, if you don't put it, there's just a depth sort of missing from it, and I really want to make it authentic, so I don't mind. You do need 1 full beer. Oh, my rice cooker just went off, so the rice is all done. I'm going to show you guys that. Now I'm going to close this pot now that we added the beer, and I'm just going to let it cook for another 10 minutes, and then we're going to add in our beef. Our rice is all done over here. We're just going to open that up. I love this rice cooker. It's so easy to cook with. So this is what I'm going to be eating this meal with. I'm going to be having with some white rice instead of inside of the bun. Now we're ready to add in our beef. So for the meat, we're going to put it right back down to medium low. We want the meat to cook nice and slow. I cut them nice and thin on purpose because when you do put them inside of the bun, the thinner they are, it's just easier to eat. Oh my god, adding in the meat is my favorite part. The meat actually does not need that long to cook. That's why I don't want to put it on high heat. I want to keep it on low so that this sauce can really marinate. So now we're just going to close that up and let it cook. Are you guys ready to see the reveal? It's been sitting here on extremely low for about 10 to 15 minutes right now. Once it's all done, you can also close the stove and put the lid back on and let it sit there, and the sauce will just keep getting thicker and thicker. I've already tried it out. I did need to add a little bit more salt because the only salt I added was on top of the beef. But I always like to taste at the end just in case. I don't want to make it too salty. And now it is perfect. So I'm going to be serving it 2 different ways, and I'm going to show you guys how I prep the plate. Okay, so plate number 1, we're going to do it in a bun. I asked my dad to bring me some fresh Portuguese buns. So I have here the bun, and I've just split it in half, and now we're going to add our meat inside of it. So that's the first plate, you guys. This is basically like a steak sandwich, a Portuguese steak sandwich. Look how yummy that looks. It is gonna get a little bit messy, but that is the beauty of this one. Now for our second plate, I have here a cup of rice on the side, and now I'm just gonna put the meat on my plate. So here's my plate, you guys. Oh my god, I can't wait to have this for lunch. I love this sauce. You guys can have it in a bun like a steak sandwich, or you guys can have it as a meal with some rice on the side. You guys can also serve it with potatoes if you want. I just love serving it with rice. Okay guys, so that's basically our meal for today. I'm so excited about how it turned out. So happy with both of them. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. It's super easy, and I know you guys can do it too. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll be cooking together next time.